The station floated quietly above the dark side of a gas giant. It was called Outpost Varex 9, a small science base in the outer rim of the galaxy. Only 6 crew members lived there. Most of the time, nothing happened. They studied stars, planets, and strange cosmic dust. But tonight, something changed. It started with a sound. Not from inside the station, but from deep space. Dr. Nayla Tovron was the first to hear it. She sat at her desk, half asleep, drinking cold coffee. Her screen blinked once. Then again, a small red warning popped up. Unclassified signal. Source unknown, audio only. Nayla raised an eyebrow. She hit play. A low, broken voice came through the speakers. The sound was distorted, like it had traveled a long way through ruined space. They are not dead. We could not stop it. Her heart skipped. The voice continued, now clearer. Burn the stars if you must. Just stop it, before it learns to cross. Nayla sat straight. She didn't move. She played the message. Again. The same words repeated in hundreds of languages. Human, Zarn, Drellin, even old. Galactic trade tongue that no one spoke anymore. It wasn't a call for help. It was a warning. 2:38 Galactic Time. The crew gathered in the main observation room. Captain Brent Harrow, former military man turned science commander, stood in front of the screen with arms crossed. The message played again. No one spoke. Where did it come from? He asked. Dead system, sir, said Yalon, the communications tech. X-37 sector. What? Nothing there for hundreds of years. No planets, just a burnt star. What? Said Nayla. That system died during the last burn war. There's nothing left. But the signal's still coming, Yalon said. It's repeating every 11 minutes. Same message, no change. And, paused, then added ... It's getting louder. By morning, 3 other stations across the sector also reported the same signal. The Galactic Council said it was probably old war debris, maybe an old AI repeating a dying loop. It marked it as non-threatening, but Nayla didn't believe that. She kept listening, and late at night she heard something else, breathing behind the words in the message. Deep inside the noise was a faint, slow breathing, like something massive. Sleeping, 3 days later, a research ship arrived at the dead system the One. That sent the signal it didn't return. The crew of the Soul Drifter, a ship with 24 people on board, stopped sending updates to hours after arrival. One blurry video came through before silence. It showed the ship approaching the burnt star when the star suddenly pulsed like a heart. Then the video turned black. No wreckage, no distress beacon, no escape pods. Just gone nay. Ella stayed up all night after that. She opened the star charts. Looked at every burnt system in the area. She saw something strange. Stars were dying faster. Systems marked stable were now showing signs of decay, as if something was eating them. Stars don't die like that, she whispered. And then her screen blinked again. New data received. Direct source. Prisoner transport ship Fractal Cage. Nayla blinked. That ship had been missing for 2 years. She clicked play. The screen showed a Death Worlder, tall gray skin, pitch black, scars across its face. It sat in a dark cell. But it wasn't afraid. It looked angry, and then it spoke in clean. Perfect English, you fools. You heard the signal and came anyway. It sleeps inside the dead sun. We locked it there long ago. If it wakes, it will learn. If it learns, it will spread. Nayla ran to the captain. We have to report this to Central Command, she shouted. That signal, it's not just noise, it's a seal, a cage. Captain. Harrow stared at her. He had dark circles under his eyes. Too late, he said slowly. They sent another ship this morning. 3, actually. No, she screamed. They'll break it open. That night, the stars near X-37 began to flicker. People across the outer colonies reported nightmares, screaming. Visions of fire raining from the sky, children drawing symbols they had never seen before. The signal now played in all major frequency ships. Stations, even military comms. The same message, louder. Burn the stars if you must. Just stop. 4 days later, a strange ship arrived at Outpost Virex-9. It had no life signs, no power. Just drifted silently. The crew pulled it into docking bay 2. Looks like one of the rescue ships they sent to. 10 to 37, said Yolan. Nayla nodded. Then we'll check for survivors. They entered the ship in full suits. The halls were dark, cold, covered in frost and blood. At the center of the ship, they found the bridge. Everyone was still in their seats, dead, eyes open, mouths screaming, skin burned from inside. The ship's data log played one final audio. We found it, inside the star. Not light, not fire. It looked at us. We saw its mind. It wants the stars. It's hungry. Captain. Harrow ordered full lockdown. But the power started to fail across Outpost Virex-9. Doors closed on their own. Lights flickered. Air became heavy. Jalin screamed in the hallway. I saw it in the vents. It's in here with us. But when the others arrived, there was nothing, just strange black ash on the floor. Anna began to hear whispers in her sleep. You opened the cage. You brought it closer. Never should have come. The final scene. The camera on. The station hallway shows Nayla standing alone in front of the viewing glass. Behind her, the gas giant glows red dot, and then slowly, a shape rises from behind the planet. Not a ship, not a beast, something made of light and shadow. It's too big to understand. Its face has no eyes, but she knows it's looking at her. Nayla speaks into her recorder one last time. This is Dr. Nayla. Tovron of Outpost, Virax-9. We heard the signal, ignored the Deathworlders. We thought they were savages. They were trying to save us. Now the stars are burning. The transmission ends. Captain Yulo Varn had seen many strange things in space, but nothing like this. He stood on the bridge of the exploration ship Shardfall, staring at the screen. The image showed a dead star, cold, black, cracked like stone, and yet was glowing. Not with heat, but with something else, something alive. Why is it pulsing? The navigator asked in a quiet voice. No one answered. 3 hours earlier, the Galactic Council sent Shardfall to investigate the strange disappearance of 3 ships near the X-37 system.
Oh.
Signaled the one that warned, burn the stars if you must. Stop it. But now Shardfall was alone. They had reached orbit around the dark star. Scans showed no heat, no radiation. Nothing living, and yet deep inside, something moved. Ulo ordered a long-range probe to be launched. The crew watched silently as the small drone flew into the dark surface of the star. It passed through a crack into the hollow interior. The feed began to shake. Then they heard it. A sound at first, it was a soft hum. Then it grew louder and louder, until it was no longer sound. It was screaming. The entire ship shook. Systems blinked. Lights turned red. Oxygen levels dropped for 2 seconds, then returned to normal. Then the probe feed turned black. Gone. Why? Uelo stared at the screen. Get us out of here, he said, but the engines didn't respond in the engineering bay. Chief Tech Lyra watched her control panels flicker like old candles. A thick mist began to leak from the air vents. She reached out and something grabbed her hand. She screamed. Others ran to help, but found her standing still. Eyes wide, blood pouring from her ears. She whispered one word before collapsing. It knows. Meanwhile, back on Outpost Virex-9, Nayla couldn't sleep. She kept seeing a vision in her head, a star opening like an eye. Captain Harrow had locked down communications. But Nayla hacked a private line and contacted the council again. We're not facing a creature, she said. It's not alive like we understand. It's memory, pain, hate. On Shardfall, panic began to rise. A crew member walked into the airlock and opened the outer doors without a suit. His last words were recorded on the log. I need the silence. It's screaming in the light. Others started seeing shadows where there should be none. People began to whisper in languages they didn't know. One officer spoke the old Death Worlder tongue fluent, perfect even though she was born in the inner colonies and had never heard the language in her life. Finally, the ship received a message, but not from the Council. From inside the star, you heard us. You came. You broke the seal. Now we learn. The star flared. A pulse of black light spread across the system. Satellites. Probes and relays all went dark. Then the light reached Shardfall. The screaming came again, but this time didn't stop. It kept echoing in their minds, burning. Images into their brains, dead stars, burning skies, galaxies torn apart by something with no name. YULO gave the final command. Engage warp jump. Get us out now, the engines responded. Just barely. Shardfall escaped, but not alone. Something followed. The ship reached a nearby colony world HFY. They crash-landed outside the capital city. Rescue teams rushed in. They found the crew alive, but changed. They didn't speak. They didn't blink. They didn't move unless spoken to. One by one, they looked up at the medics and said, "We brought it." We saw inside the star. It was waiting. It has a name, but no one understood the name. It was just a sound like tearing metal in deep thunder. Spoken without breath, a sound not meant for human mouths. Back on Outpost VERX-9. Alarms rang again. Another signal was coming. But this time, it wasn't a message. It was a map. A star chart showing every system where the same dark pulse was already spreading. 12 systems, then 40, and 200. And the message changed. Now, it said, "We warned you. The stars scream now." Final scene, Nayla watches. The stars flicker one by one on the hologram. Each blink means a system has fallen silent. She plays the old message again. Burn the stars if you must. Just stop it. She finally understands. The Death Worlders weren't trying to save themselves. They were trying to save the galaxy. By destroying the thing now waking in the dark, the medics on HFY expected trauma. They expected burns, broken bones, or maybe radiation sickness. But what they found in the survivors of the Shardfall mission... Survivor. Number Lieutenant Rill. Status sat in the medbay with a smile on his face. He didn't blink. He didn't move. His heartbeat was slow to slow. And when the doctor looked into his eyes, she saw something moving behind them, like shadows swimming under glass. "Can you tell us what happened to your ship?" the doctor asked. Rill's smile grew wider. He spoke with a calm voice. "It learned us. Inside out. Watched us from inside our thoughts." The doctor took a step back. This wasn't normal trauma. This was something else. On Outpost VRX-9, Nayla studied the footage from Shardfall's last moments. One frame, nearly hidden in the static, showed something massive, a shape inside the dead. Star. Not made of flesh. Not machine. Just formless. It had no eyes. But it was watching. A new report came from another colony, Varnax 6. A mining team had returned from the outer moons. They too had changed. The whole crew walked back into town without a word. Eyes. Black, skin, pale. They moved slowly, together as one. One miner, before his final breath, said, "We brought it closer. We didn't mean to, but it listened. It's always listening. It hears every spark in your mind. Every thought, every scream." In a secret chamber beneath the Galactic Council Tower, an emergency meeting was held. Generals, scientists, and diplomats watched the live reports. "So far, 11 colonies have been affected," said Admiral Kren. "No survivors acting normal. Do we know what it wants?" Asked a council leader. A Death Worlder sat in the corner of the room, his face covered in scars. He answered in a deep voice, "It doesn't want. It becomes." The room went silent. Back on HFY, the medics performed scans on the Shardfall. Survivors, the scans showed. Nothing, no organs, no bones. Just static. Like the machines couldn't understand what they were seeing. The bodies looked normal, but inside, there was something else. One medic opened the chest of a survivor. There was no heart, only a black spiral, spinning slowly, like a galaxy trapped in flesh. Then the spiral blinked. Panic spread. The colony went into lockdown, but it was too late. People started hearing whispers, through walls, through screens, through silence. The voice spoke in their dreams. "We are close now. You invited us. You opened the cage." Nayla decoded the last part of the signal that kept repeating across the galaxy. Behind the warning, hidden under layers of dead code, was something terrifying. A map, but not of space. A neural map. A map of the human brain. And next to it, instruction. "This one is ready." Back in the galactic tower, the Death Worlder stood and pointed to the hologram of the stars. "They sent us back changed," he said. "But soon you won't need ships to carry it." The council stared at him in confusion. He whispered, "You'll carry it in dreams, in thoughts, in sound. And then you'll carry it into your children." One final transmission came through from a deep space beacon. The signal had changed again. Now it spoke in a child's voice, sweet.com, but wrong. "We are learning so fast. Your minds are soft. Your light is easy to wear. Thank you." The voice ended with the same phrase, "Burn the stars if you must." But now, we are already inside. Final scene. On Outpost. Varix-9 Nayla stares at her own reflection. Her eyes look normal. But for a second, just for 1 second, her reflection smiles before she does. Deep in the void of Sector V13, a forgotten moon floated in silence. It had no light, no heat, no name. Most star maps didn't even show it, but the Death Worlders knew it. They called it Narkle, the moon of final defense. Long ago, in their world was dying, the Death Worlders built something under its surface, something they swore to never use again. A cage. A gate. A weapon. A last line. Now, the moon was waking. The first to see the change was a scavenger crew. Their ship, the Finder's Luck, passed near the moon by accident. They scanned it and found strange signals energy deep inside the rock, Captain. Janza, greedy for forgotten tech, sent a drone to land. The drone disappeared. Then, the moon began to move. It turned. Not drifted. Turned like a giant eye searching for something. The crew panicked. They tried to run, but it was too late. A beam of black light shot from the moon's surface, hitting their ship, not destroying it but freezing it in time. Everything inside stopped. No motion, no breath, like flies trapped in glass. Back on Outpost Varix-9, Nayla stared at new reports. 12 ships lost in 1 day, all near the same strange moon. And in each case, the last recorded sound was the same. Access denied. Containment. Breach in progress. Final gate waking. The Galactic Council had no answers, but the Death Worlder in the council chamber stood up and said, "5 words, you must destroy that moon." Everyone stared. "Why?" asked the Admiral. The Death Worlder's face darkened. "Because that moon is not a weapon against it. It's a weapon for it," he explained. "Long ago, when the Death Worlders discovered the thing inside, the stars, they couldn't kill it, but they found a way to trap it by feeding it. The moon was built to contain part of it, a small shard, seed. The plan was to bury it forever, but the galaxy grew careless. The warnings were forgotten. Now the seed had grown. Now the moon had become. A military fleet was sent to investigate. 3 destroyers, 1 battlecruiser. They reached the moon within 12 hours. But they never fired a shot, because when they saw it, they began to pray. The moon opened. Literally, its surface cracked and straight. Lines perfect cuts in stone. From inside rose massive black towers, pulsing with energy. Symbols glowed in red light. Words not from any known language except one, a Death Worlder word, Shivarin, meant gods of ending. The fleet sent 1 transmission before all channels went silent. It showed the towers, turning, aligning, pointing toward the heart of the galaxy. A voice followed, low and ancient. "Target, Acquired. Sequence complete. Darkfire protocol. Unlocked. On Outpost Varix 9, the stars around the moon began to vanish. Not explode, just disappear, as if being erased from existence, and across the galaxy, others began to hear a new message. This is not invasion. This is inheritance. You lived in our prison. Now we take it back. Nayla ran simulations. If the moon's weapon fired, it wouldn't destroy planets. It would erase time itself in those regions. It was not a bomb. It was a reset switch for reality. Why would the Deathworlders build this? She asked. The old Deathworlder on the coms replied, because we were losing. We knew one day the stars would stop listening. So we built something that would make them forget. Final scene. In the ruins of a colony on Varnix 6. A young girl finds a strange orb. It glows with heat and whispers to her. She picks it up. Her eyes turn black. She says one sentence.
Oh.
The moon is not waking. It's remembering. From the edge of the galaxy to the core, stars began to flicker. Not from fuel running low, not from age. They flickered like blinking eyes. Dr. Nayla stood alone in the observatory room on Outpost Varix 9, her face pale, her voice trembling. Screens in front of her showed hundreds of stars across the sectors. One by one. They blinked. At first she thought it was a system glitch. Then one star moved just a little. Not orbit, not explosion. It looked at her. Stars don't move like that, whispered Yolan, watching the footage beside her. But it had. The star had. Turned. Toward them. Across the Council network, similar reports poured in. Colonies claimed the night skies were changing. Constellations rearranged. Stars dimmed and returned, but never in the same pattern. Children drew shapes they couldn't. Explained shapes with too many eyes. Too many teeth, and one repeating symbol, a star. With a slit like a pupil on the mining colony, Hespera 9. Workers started screaming. They said the stars were whispering to them. One man gouged out his own eyes with a rock. His final words were, I saw it inside the sun. It blinked. Then it knew me. Now it wears me when I sleep. The Council blamed space madness, solar flares, hysteria. But Deathworlder Command disagreed. A warning was sent out. The stars are no longer safe. To observe, do not stare too long. They may stare back. Nayla analyzed the patterns in the flickering stars. She saw something hidden deep in the blinking, a message not written, not spoken, but formed in timing, like Morse code. From a star, she decoded it. 5 words. We see you, CUS. Her hands shook. She didn't sleep that night. The next day, satellites in 3 systems stopped working. Solar observatories across 6 colonies melted their own lenses. Telescope systems overheated and exploded. One AI assistant in a star lab simply said, we looked too long. Now we are marked. Military stations were hit next. Their sensors picked up sudden radiation bursts, not from black holes, but from stars that were previously stable. The radiation didn't kill. It changed. People, exposed to the light, began humming. Their voices matched. The same pattern every time they spoke. Their language twisted, turned into a sound no one had ever heard before. At the edge of the Talos void, an explorer ship went silent, but its black box returned. Alone, inside the recording, was a message spoken by the crew captain. The star is alive. It's not fire. It's memory. It's memory. Each light is a watcher. I thought we were alone in the dark. We're wrong. The dark is watching us back. On Outpost Varix 9, Nayla made a discovery. A repeating signal was hidden inside the light pulses from multiple stars. Not communication, not intelligence. Something worse. Instruction. The stars were rewriting minds, thoughts, beliefs, memories, and the scariest part? People affected didn't know it. The Deathworlder General, speaking through an encrypted channel, warned the Council, you do not understand. The stars are the first ones. Older than war, older than gods. We tried to stop them by sealing their thoughts inside a dead sun, but the seal is breaking. And now their dreams are crawling into yours. Final scene. Nayla stares at her own telescope, ready to shut it down forever. She hesitates, then looks up at one last star. It blinks. She blinks. And for just 1 second, she sees her own face inside, it watching her back. She screams, but no sound comes out. The first gate appeared near the edge of Secta Theta-9. It was small, barely larger than a freighter. A black circle surrounded by a thin red ring. No radiation, no gravity pull, just silent darkness. Scientists called it a spatial anomaly, but the Deathworlders had another name: Void Gate. At first, no one was afraid. They sent a drone through. It vanished instantly. No data returned. Then a small scout ship, it's a Veilstar, went in. Its signal stopped mid-dashward. Only silence came back. No light, no wreckage, nothing. The Galactic Council ordered the area sealed, but it was too late. Within 1 week, 6 more gates opened across the galaxy. They appeared near planets, moons, trade routes, even near suns. Ships that passed too close were taken, not destroyed, just gone. Sensors couldn't detect where the gates led. Navigation systems showed nothing beyond them. And worst of all, they never closed. On Outpost for X9, Nayla stared at the latest galactic map. Red circles blinked all across the starfield void. Gates were growing. Some were linking together like veins, like a network. They're not random, she whispered. They're building something. Deathworlder records told the truth. These gates were not natural. They were eyes, portals, built by ancient star thoughts. Those that once burned inside suns before time had names, and now they were waking. On Colony Rhea 2, a large gate opened. Near the capital city, a storm of black wind poured out. It didn't touch buildings, only people. Those caught in the wind stood still, then turned to ash in seconds, and those who survived, they started drawing circles on every wall, over and over, saying, "The same thing, the way is open. It's learning how to walk." The council tried sending in warships. One dreadnought, Hammerlight, fired plasma torpedoes into the gate. They vanished inside. A few minutes later, a message returned from inside the gate. "Thank you for the offering. More." No. Then, a piece of the dreadnought's hull came back. Melted. Bent. Inward, as if something had sucked the metal from within. Worse was the sound. Void. Gates made no noise until now. They started humming. Low, deep, not just sound, but thought. A voice below hearing. It's reaching into people's minds, causing dreams, visions, madness. People began disappearing in their sleep. No trace, no scream, just empty beds and a smell like burnt stone. Security footage showed people walking toward invisible doors and vanishing Nala. Studied recordings from all 6 active gates. They all pulsed at the same moment every 11 hours, and during each pulse, nearby electronics failed, power died, AI froze, and some people screamed words they didn't know. It's climbing through us. It walks without form. We are the doorway. One message came from a child on Colony Saranis. She drew a perfect map of all Void Gate locations before any adult knew. When asked how she knew, she said, "He told me. The one with no skin, the one that sings from behind the stars." The Deathworlders gave their final warning. You cannot close the gates. You can only run. We once built these to contain it, but now it builds them. Reach you? Final scene. On Outpost Varix 9, Elan checks the hallway cameras. He sees a black circle like a gate forming inside the corridor, but it's not on any map, not on any scanner, just a black hole in space. Opening in the floor from inside, a hand made of shadows begins to rise, and then the screen cuts to static.